should be down. Okay, Sean's going to show you this, and I'm going to deal with the saxophone.
Now we invite you to take a walk with Bill Porter, a man whose story drew one of the largest responses we have ever gotten at 2020. And when you witness the combination of heart and courage that drives him, you'll understand why. Some extraordinary things have happened to Bill Porter since we first told his story. He is the inspiration for a movie, and we'll tell you about the Academy Award nominee who may play him. But first, Bob again brings you the simple story of a simply endearing.
There was another group that did.
These terrible rainy days crossing these busy roads, and then I actually never knew who he was. I thought, what is that man doing?
He was carrying a briefcase, wearing a tie, with his shirt cuffs neat and his shoes shined, and his gaze fixed on the houses ahead of him. What he was doing was selling household products door to door for the Watkins Company. His name is Bill Porter. And because the sight of a door-to-door salesman is growing rare at this age when people are reluctant to open their doors to strangers, a reporter for the Portland Oregonian named Tom Holman thought there might be a story in it.
So I called him, and he was adamant, no story. And I remember finally on a Saturday, calling him at home saying, just let me come over and introduce myself to you and tell you what I want to do.
Bill Porter did agree to an introduction here in his house in a middle-class Portland neighborhood. And when Tom Holman arrived, his planned portrait of a door-to-door salesman soon began to develop into a story unlike anything he had imagined. Mr. Porter has cerebral palsy. His mother, Irene, told him that a doctor's instrument had damaged a section of his brain at birth, and the condition affects his walk, his hands, his speech, all the natural tools of the work he chose. He was born in 1932 when cerebral palsy was barely understood. As a child, he was teased, sometimes unmercifully. His father died when he was still young, and when others sought to discourage him as he grew old enough to work, his one unwavering source of encouragement was Irene Porter. Tell me a bit about your mom. What would she say to you?
She inspired me to go ahead.
Her inspiration kept him going when voice after voice told him there was no work he could handle. You'd go to the employment agency day after day.
Yeah, day after day. But nobody would hire me.
When Bill was growing up, people looked at kids like that as retarded. That there was no future for them. And the state told Bill he was unemployable and he should collect disability payments. And his mother believed in this kid.
My mother told me I could do what I said I had to do.
And if his ambition was to sell products door to door, so be it. One of the places where he applied for work was the Watkins Company, which sells household products ranging from detergents to spices. Bill had already been rejected by the Fuller Brush Company, and Watkins didn't want to hire him at first either. But he finally convinced them to give him the worst territory they had in Portland, the one that nobody else wanted. They had nothing to lose by it, and it began a string of connections that involved hundreds of lives and changed a few of them. Before he ever attempts his first sale in a day, Bill Porter has a system that begins when he leaves his house at 7:45 a.m. to wait for the bus to downtown Portland. He can't drive, and because he has limited use of one hand, he can't tie his shoes or button his collar and shirt cuffs.
How are you?
But he will manage in ways that arise both from his sheer determination never to miss a day of work and a network of acquaintances who contribute to his efforts over the miles he goes. People who might remain anonymous to others take a moment to be themselves with Bill. At 8:05, he gets off the bus in downtown Portland and walks to the Fifth Avenue Suites Hotel. Here, the young bellhops, it's Joseph Sundberg on this day, tell him the latest stories about their children and families.
I got that baby at home, so I gotta make sure.
The bellhops are the ones who carefully button Bill's shirt cuffs for him and take care of his collar and clip on his tie.
And it's such a role reversal. A young man buttoning a man who's old enough to be his father's shirt. There's something very tender about it, something so pure and innocent about both of them.
His next stop is a block from the hotel, the Greeling Brothers Shoe Parlor. This is where the shine comes from. This is where his shoes finally are tied for him by Jeff McAlpine. Then his painstaking daily work begins.
Then he takes another bus to his route and starts hoofing it. Up and down hills, up and down steps, and walking is difficult for Bill. The physical act of what he does really speaks to the internal Bill. That don't give up. There's no obstacle that you can't overcome.
He walks 7 miles and more each day with a chronic back ailment to stand and listen to people say yes or no to his overtures, door by door. But this man who faced so much discouragement early in his life never complains and has never been put off by the rejections in his 35 years of selling. It goes with the territory.
You just realize it's business when people say,
It doesn't bother me.
Is that your mom?
Yeah.
One person Bill Porter has let in on some of his secrets of selling is Shelley Brady, who started working for Bill when she was in high school because he needs someone who can drive to deliver the products that his customers order.
He says, I will knock on a door and they'll tell me no, and they'll tell me to never, ever, ever come back.
I don't think there's anything we need this time.
He doesn't hear that. He doesn't hear the word no. He never gives up. And they are some of his best customers.
This stop is at Janet Brown's house. Bill doesn't carry a display case, but he does carry pictures of his products that he has mounted carefully in plastic pages.
Is that where it comes in two packages?
No, he just buys them in the picture like that.
He doesn't leave without me buying something.
Creole.
I haven't tried too much Creole. He's got it figured out. He just keeps showing me things until I find just the right thing. Well, I camping, so I think I better get some insects.
His customers fill out their own order forms for him before he's off again.
Bye-bye.
People don't buy from Bill because they feel sorry for him. If they did, I think they would buy once and that would be the end of it. But he's selling to second generation Portland people.
Why don't you give me 2 of those?
This one here's the new one. I've been buying from Bill Porter for 27 years. 27 years. 2 previous addresses and now this one. Won't take no for an answer. And he's always able to sell products.